Welcome to another episode of Lorcana League Night. This is Christopher, joined by
Roy.
This week we're going to finish up our D23 coverage and also store tier information. Your local stores have gotten some new instructions. Thank you everyone for joining us this week. All right, for our first topic, our upcoming bundles. We have the entire year mapped out. Of course, the beginning of this year for Lorcana, year 3, has started off with Attack of the Vine. Coming up is Hyperion City, and believe it or not, the one which is my favorite is going to be Into the Darkness with all the villains set. And then the Hyperspace, finally, the last set that is coming out is going to be something with Pixie Hollow. My daughter is a huge Tinkerbell fan, so she knows all about the different characters and was able to point them out from spoilers that came for Pixie Hollow. Roy, new sets. Which set are you most excited about?
I'm mostly excited about the Year of the Villain as a whole, though. So Into the Ink Dark. I'm assuming that it's Hades is not going to be the only villain featured in this, though. So I'm looking forward to maybe a possible reprint, though. I'm speculating that they might actually reprint your favorite card, which is in the correct color identity, which is Be Prepared.
I love that, and I do love that card. But, all right, I'm a combo player at heart, as much as I love Control. And Control is a way to pull off combo. They have Exodia coming to it. Have you seen the Hades card that's the forefront of the set?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. So you're going to set up a strategy to where you get, was it 5 Titans?
6 Titans into your Inkwell.
And I guarantee you it's either going to be of 2 or 3 color combinations, so they might actually mix it up a little bit. Or do you think the Titans will actually be set in a certain color scheme?
Historically, all the Titans have been steel. And if they bring back the Titans from the previous sets, and again, you could pull this off pretty much with all steels. I just don't know. Sapphire is going to be the easiest way to pull this off too. So if you don't have that Sapphire to be able to do that extra inking, and you're going to be stuck with trying to do it with steel, and I think this Hades is Amber, if I remember correctly. It's going to be a little bit tougher. But no, I don't know. We'll have to see if the Titans if they have a Winnie the Pooh, Christopher Robin type experience.
That's kind of interesting because having this concept as first that you'll be using Titans as fuel, though. So thematically, it'll be basically Hades reliving that part of the movie where he summons all the Titans to go after Zeus and the rest of the gods, though. So kind of like a reimagining or maybe like a remix of the whole event that went through, though, which is crazy. Funny, actually, it's one of the most funniest scenes in the movie, in my opinion. But it's like saying, "Oh,
Olympus is that way."
So I was like, "All right, cool. Ellipsis is right here." So there you go. But
I love playing single player games in my multiplayer game so much, and that's going to really echo that.
That's totally crazy, though. So, okay, let's map this out, though. Number 1, you're probably going to need enough card draw, if not like ramp, to get all the cards in there, though. But do you think that they might actually start using like from the graveyard effects or discard, for that matter, that just basically dump Titans into your graveyard, or quite possibly flip them into ink?
Honestly, having some sort of like pull from the underworld ability would be really, really powerful combination.
Mm-hmm.
With Amber, you will have things like the pot, the Black Cauldron, but that goes into play. You play it from the cauldron into play. So maybe something that where you put them out, and if they don't get removed through like, oh man, Sapphire is so minimal right now. I don't see much. I don't know what else that wouldn't be in Sapphire, because all the combinations I would say like, put target card from your discard into Inkwell, like Moana. Moana Explorer,
There you
that
go.
would be really, really good. But I guess that's maybe the number one reason why they don't want to put this combination with Sapphire. Maybe they definitely want to keep it as Steel Amber because this would be really, really easy between Snow White or Cinderella, and it's Belle, Cinderella, Belle, and Moana. That's you can easily get them in by turn 6, if not earlier, and then you just plop down your Hades, and that game's not done by turn 6. Honestly, though, from what we've seen on the next set, Hyperia City, there probably won't be turn 6 in most games. Have you seen the new keyword?
Yes. Ink drop.
Oh, that's right. There's two new keywords.
Yeah.
So first one is ink drop. What do you think of ink drop? All right, what used to be called treasure?
Yes. So let me get this just correct in my head though. So when you say ink drop, does that mean there's like some sort of a token that you have to put into play that you could only use once for ink? Is that correct?
Just like treasure in Magic the Gathering.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, that would be a great concept though, because seeing that Mickey, I'm like, oh, that's ramp, but it comes at a cost though. So basically, it's everybody ramp. Your
Yep.
opponent will get an advantage by using it first though, but I think um I think that card's going to be a solid turn one play because you put it out and then you exert it. You get your quest or you get your lore, you quest into it, you get your triggered abilities though. Your opponent gets the benefit of that though. But if you're playing a deck that specifically maybe ramp, I could actually see this in my Amber Sapphire deck and play it as maybe as a like either a playset or at least a two of.
I see this as they want games to go faster, so they want a lot more aggro around and say hello to the brand new keyword adventurous. So it is reckless, but for questing. And I mean, already there's some really, really good decks that just logically, okay, I just want a quest as much as possible. There's a Woody, which I believe pretty much applies adventurous that came out uh, last set. This is going to be icing on the cake for that. I mean, for aggro players are going to have big chunky bodies that can quest early and just turn sideways. It'll probably work really well with Eleanor's and other things that you just, all right, I don't care about the game going along. I just wanted to flood the field, maybe draw a card at the end, but just kind of push everything out. Yeah, I think that we're seeing the biggest push in a while for aggro that I've ever seen. I haven't seen the other cards, and well, if Be Prepared is going to be coming out next set, that might be a good way to keep these aggro decks in check. But whew, really, really, really scared about how aggro centric that's going to be,
Uh-huh.
and I have no idea how a Hades is going to be able to do his combo after Hyperia City, and we see a bunch of adventurous cards.
Well, you ever play Age of Empires?
I sure did. Absolutely.
Yeah, so this is what I suspect is going to happen with the next two sets though. So the next set will probably be aggro focused and basically singer focused as by seeing like the cards. I sense a theme here: heroes and villains. Heroes are aggro, villains are control or combo in this specific case though. Because thematically throughout the Disney movies, you don't see the villain automatically just go after the hero right away, though. It's like they set up all these plans, these schemes, these little traps and little pains, and constantly watching them and like, oh my God, I can't believe he got this far. And then it's like, but then heroes are basically accumulating power and just going through, and I have to complete, this task and reach the top. So at this certain point, it's going to be an aggro center set, the Hyperia City, and I think Into the Dark will probably be more control combo focus.
That'd be really interesting. I'm very curious for the sets afterwards. Um, we see a space theme set. So we know the new set for coming up for Hyperia City is going to be theme park related with a figment. That's not an actual card. It's a basically taking an existing card and reprinting alternative art for an existing card. I'm not sure how that is going to count for putting in decks, if that counts for your deck total. Luckily, it's not too powerful of a card. And then we see Coco as the new, like, hey, this is the new IP. We don't know if there's going to be any other new ones. Next set, we haven't heard anything yet for new IPs. The set after, space themed. How can it not be Wally? Has to be Wally, right?
Could be Wally, could be Baymax. I want Baymax to come back because I'm
Could be both.
yeah.
Yeah. It'd be nice, some more Hero 6, and then Wally, more Robot centric. Oh, think about all the Robot centric stuff and then having Syndrome.
Yeah,
Oh, that'd be a really fun deck.
most definitely.
And then, of course, Pixie Hollow is going to have Peter Pan adjacent, although it has a very different universe than it. It's if you haven't seen any of the Pixie Hollow stuff, well, you have a villages of fairies, and each fairy has its own speciality, different skills and strengths, and I mean, like they have pirates, which are normally a enemy of the fairies, but I think only one of them, which was actually called Pirate Fairy, had Captain Hook. Other than that, it's very Victorian London, and they just try to do stuff and not be seen. So no big enemy there. So they'll probably start a new storyline on something else that's occurring that has to rally the fairies to fight. In terms of the next 4 sets coming out, uh, what do you think is going to probably be uh, the big cadence that they're going for? So I hear you saying that they're going to probably go for aggro, then control. Do you think that they would pick up a mid-range set and then probably restart the cycle, or do you think that the cadence is going to just kind of just react to what people say, because they have to plan these cards out in at least a year in advance just to get to the printers?
So the clues I gotten from the last 2 sets, though, heroes and villains, they're going to be matching a certain theme. But I think the next 4 sets will actually just set not a gameplay style though, but just a certain theme though. So you got the theme park, you got the villains, basically gathering it up and going into outer space. And to be perfectly honest though, I do like this direction that they're taking it because now they realize that they actually have a game on their hands though. It's a real game now. Like people could stop
Yeah.
people do not like denounce it anymore. So now they can start creating these worlds, which is similar to what Magic used to do back in the day with planeswalkers. They would just go through different worlds and such. So this is exciting for me. I want to explore different aspects of all the IPs that are involved in Lorcana and just to see the storyline just continue through. The lore, literally, is the way you win the game, but the lore is also the way you enjoy the game.
I love that. That is a great analogy for that. And again, the so clever on the fact that heroes are more aggro focused. I mean, we see that with Daisy Duck. We see that with like a lot of the Mickey Mouses. The Mickey Mini Duo is such a great aggro card, even though it has a control element to it with questing for 5 and can be coming down on turn 3 and instantly questing. And
Jeez. Yeah.
the incredibly convoluted plans of villains that usually are at detriment to themselves, and storylines you see like heroes just bashing their head against, fumbling through, going, jumping over. And a lot of the times in Disney stories, the heroes have to learn their lesson on how to overcome some character flaw. So you don't, do that transition later on for hopefully I just quested enough and turned sideways enough to beat the villain before they wed.
Mhm.
And a lot of times it somehow works out for aggro decks. Aggro hate. Really, really spot on take there. What would you like to see coming out of Hyperion Hyperion City in terms of story? Where we're going to have a full map, which is going to be really interesting. Do you think that there's going to be? Would you like to see a little bit more depth of the universe or of what Lorcana means, or would you like to see more of a new villain kind of show up? Do you want it to be kind of more of a backstory set, or more of a, this is a point for us to kind of start a new storyline now that the vine's been taken care of?
I would have to say Hyperion City to me reminds me of basically if Disney created a city on its own, not like Disneyland or Disney World for that matter though, but they're using that theme park structure in order to introduce different aspects of it though. I look forward to seeing the map and what different parts of the town are like, doing or specializing and such stuff. So but it looks like old time or futuristic 1950s realized Chicago. If you kind of get that
Yeah.
vibe, it's just like people are because I saw that Donald Duck angry taxi driver. I'm like, oh, that's totally Chicago right there. The whole attitude of the city and the hustle and bustle and
Yep.
everything, highways being built, and there's going to be a ton of locations though, because literally it's probably going to be not only an aggro-based set, but a locations-based set as well.
How do you think they've done with their location so far? It's they've rarely seen a commonality in decks. Items, at least you see a very, this item usually helps support your main goal in your deck. Songs and actions, they're very healthy in decks, but again, items you have to really build around the item in order to fit one or two items into your deck. Even when aggro items like the ferry ship, where it was a one ink that provided one, I think it was a 0/4
Hmm.
that again, it was sure an item that was there, but that point of that item was really just, it was a slightly harder to remove 1/4 that you didn't have to turn sideways in order to quest with. So, do you think that they might need to change how they build items and how they think of items to make them see more use?
No, I think if you got the proper configuration when it comes to building deck lists, though. For instance, I just saw this new deck list that's blowing up right now. It's literally Amber Emerald, but it's a whole bunch of items that combo off of two single characters in there. And guess what one of them are?
Is it Amber Emerald? It's not Eleanor, is it? Because
No,
that'd be
no,
ridiculous.
no, 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 no.
Thank goodness.
It's Kevin. It's a combo that's based off of
Right? Yeah,
Kevin.
the Kevin. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I was looking at the list. I'm like, this makes a lot of sense though, because it's got board wipes. It has a whole bunch of items. And you're constantly able to use Kevin, put him in the discard pile, put Kevin on top of the library, draw cards until you reach Kevin. So I'm like, oh, this is a combo deck. It's
So there's a lot of, I guess, really good locations that would be more useful for very removal heavy decks. I guess like McDuck Manor
Yep.
and big AoE clear. And back in the Red Ruby uh, Sapphire days, you would see the McDuck Manor, and then when people try to take down the McDuck Manor, they would set themselves up for Be Prepared, and Be Prepared would wipe out all the stuff that would normally attack the Duck Manor. So maybe I guess because we are less control focused these days, that's putting things behind. So no, that makes absolute sense.
yeah. And
All right.
so I'll reverse the question on you though. What are you expecting out of Hyperion City right now, as of now? What are your feelings?
I think that this is going to be a set that's whole point of this is to kind of explore the what is the universe of Lorcana. This is try to establish a main point for people to kind of view when they talk about the set. They have Azurite Sea, but they never really described Azurite Island and Azurite Sea much in the set. This is actually going to probably give you an idea of like, oh, okay, I understand where these characters live. I understand the world they're in there. And as far as gameplay wise, again, I think that we see, or kind of how we saw Traveler before. We'll see a more job focused thing where if people are doing a thing, then they would get some sort of advantage. We're seeing that a little bit with the taxi driver Donald. We're seeing that with the adventurous Mickey being the painter. So I'm going to expect some sort of building set. And I really, really agree. I think location heavy would be good. I just don't know what interesting thing they would bring for locations that would excite people. That would make them include into your deck. We'll see though. I'm very excited to see. And speaking of seeing, we saw a huge change coming out of D23 with the results. Wow. Okay. Last week we said, "Oops, all Eleanor." I think people have figured out a way to play around Eleanor. What do you think?
Yeah, it's looking like that. But it looks like the old meta from last season. I keep on saying this. It's like as long as Dumbo or any variation of that entire Amethyst I'll draw a card, but I'm evasive is in this game, then they're gonna fall back on that as far as everything goes though. So now this time the color combination is amber amethyst.
Yeah,
Makes total sense.
it does. And I can kind of see the idea here. You have a very early Illinois or a very early Madrigal, and then you use their support ability when someone plays their Eleanor, and all you have to do is just survive long enough in order to Gaston that Eleanor. That will now have that plus support +2 or support +3 from either of those two support characters to remove the Eleanor. So you get a very easy removal without having to use something like an Isis to exert, and you don't have the uh, Elsa anymore to exert and rush. So this makes a good way to counter right now a big threat. And mid range is a natural predator of aggro. At the end of the day, they it just comes out, has that stronger tempo stuff. Sure, that's slower and faster, but you get all those efficient trades just to always have a response to whatever aggro is doing. So makes sense. You were talking about, Fear the Dumbo earlier, and you know what? I dismissed it some because I just thought that that 4 cost and 3/3 with the the Rider Strikes or the Horseman Strikes card. I was like, there's no way that Dumbo's going to have a huge opportunity to be a menace, but no, it's still Dumbo comes out, have some evasives to back him up, and we'll put down a hurting. Definitely, let you draw a lot of cards.
Yeah, I think the common perspective is like, okay, it's a 3/3 evasive, and it draws you a card, right? And it's like there's so much evasive removal out there. You have to remember, you got to wait until it's your turn to take out that creature. It's still doing stuff, and it could do it the turn that it comes in. Remember that as well.
Yeah.
Another thing that I took a look at these decks, and anybody running Amber as far as it goes, though, I discovered something very interesting using the support mechanic, though. Um, call me a noob, but this is me discovering something new. You know that you could use support to basically kill your opponent's creatures, right?
Support Gaston. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a great combination.
Yeah, because I did the math on it basically. Most creatures are most of the top heavy. They're skirting on 3 to 4. So if you push them up at least 2 support, then there you go. You just pop them up and it's like, oh, pull. It's a clay pigeon deck at that point.
Absolutely. And I think we've seen a little bit of transition from 1 and 2 attack minions, strength minions being a problem. Now we're seeing a lot of 3 attack minions. So Gaston's going to be able to do things like remove Demonas. With an Elenui, any 3 strength minion becomes bait. And then with the Augustin Madrigal, any he support 3, so any 2 attack minion you can hit with a Gaston, and that's not even including if you want also decide to run World's Greatest Criminal Mind.
There you go.
Uh,
Hmm.
you get the Ariel World's Greatest Criminal Mind combo. You get to remove something
And
and draw a card, which is really really powerful.
yeah, Augustin is actually one of the unspoken heroes that a lot of people have been sleeping on for a while. But I took a look and I was like, why are you including this? What? He's just 3/6. It's like, okay. Oh, there's another purpose to it though. So you got to read
Yeah,
between the lines when it comes to these cards. It's like you have to think to yourself when you're looking at deck lists and you're trying to understand it. Without playing the deck itself, though, you have to first imagine it's like, why is this card in here? And then you start looking at the other cards in the list. And that's how you match it up. That's a beautiful thing. I'm like,
yeah, and some very it's a very powerful mid-range deck, and I'm glad to see some mid-range in there because that gives an opportunity for some of the control to have something to fight with, and then some of the aggro to keep them from going too wide. One thing I would ask though is bots were a mid-range deck.
yes.
Why are we not seeing bots take the place of this deck?
My honest opinion, bots doesn't run Dumbo. They don't run Dumbo and they don't run it evades me. Oh, they don't run Dumbo and they also don't run Louis.
It runs Demona usually.
Yeah, everybody runs Demona if you're running Amethyst. That's just the given though. But the reason why specifically is because it doesn't run Dumbo and it doesn't run Magical. That's what it is. So now,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I understand now why you got upset to where like when you saw the duo cards though, it should have been these colors though. I'm starting to agree with you right now at this point. I'm like, yeah, they got the best Magicals in these colors. I'm like, it should be that. Now I see it.
Yep. Yep. And man, that's an interesting though. Giving the evasive Violet Par and Dumbo into bots because it's steel amethyst
Hmm.
um might be the thing that pushes over. Now, yeah, we don't have the hard removal,
Hmm.
but instead of Gaston and Elanui, because I think Elanui is probably the biggest thing to buff Gaston than Augustin.
Yep.
You do have the Angel, and Angel can really help turn the tide against an aggro deck. Um, is it possibly the problem with bots is it is not strong enough to control? Or have people been sleeping on the idea of putting in Dumbo and Violet Par and focusing too much on putting all the robots in there? Maybe you don't need as many robots and it still be a solid deck.
It could be, but it's very interchangeable. But that's the beauty of these deck combinations, though. They're very versatile, and you can slide in cards, whether to your tasting whatsoever. So, but
I don't do the Tigger. I see the Tigger
yeah,
and it's a great way for you to take care of some of those cheaper characters just to return them to your hand. Do you think the Tigger is more for countering enemy decks that have, uh, put down Grandma Willow's I'll never turn sideways? Or do you think that the Tigger is more for you to replay that Mowgli? So if you run into control, you play your Mowgli. If you have Tigger in hand, you know you're not going to exert Mowgli for a while. And what was one lore going to do in the Grand Theft scheme of things against the control deck? Versus saying like, okay, I'll just Tigger my Mowgli, put him back in my hand, and then remove another item or song card from your hand.
yeah, most definitely. Tigger is very versatile as far as it doesn't specify whether who has the ownership of what you're trying to do with it. So two or less to the power's hand. So you could combo
Yeah.
yourself. You could or you could basically get rid of something that might be inconvenient for you, like Grandmother Willow or anything lower than that, which falls into another deck that actually made it to the top four that I specifically wanted to talk to you about, though. Have you seen the
Oh
new Dark
yes.
Wings of Paradise?
I love it. I've been trying to run Touch the Paradise, and I've been getting run over by aggro decks. I
Uh,
I have a lot of. I mean, I run into situations where some of the existing card combos don't make sense. Where you have okay, if you have Mushu, but you're drawing with Touch Paradise, well, you're never going to have less cards. I have put in a card that I like for me personally, which is uh, the two costs, the it's not Scrooge McDuck, but that lets you whenever 4 costs whenever she quests. If you have less lore than the other, or less ink than the other player, then you get to add an ink to your hand. But I've been missing some of the good removal.
mhm,
Um, and I think the Darkwing adds that 3 cost removal, which removes a lot of problematic characters like a Dumbo.
mhm.
You still have your 4 costs, Zeus's Thunderbolt, but I think it has some really, really good matchups. And you have a 1 cost ping for that 3 cost Darkwing Duck, that 2/5, which is going to be really hard to remove. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, I love that. Love the combination they're running there.
Um, Thematically, Darkwing Duck is supposed to be what Disney's version of Batman, kind of like a parody. So
Yep.
I could imagine him actually taking out all the small minions and stuff like that. It's like, it's like he's popping out, he's doing his speech, and he's like, "Oh, you got to get out of here." And it's like, "Bye, bye, bye, get out of here."
He is the terror that flaps in the
That's
night.
right.
What? How do you think though? So that Darkwing does do a great job of hitting the Illinois. There's not many 1 health characters, and you actually have a lot of opportunity to kind of hit hard with some of the bigger characters. How would you say that the pinging Darkwind, taking up one of your uninkable slots, which is already a very, very busy slot for Steel. Do you think that it's worth getting all four, or maybe just kind of uh, sticking to the lower number? Because I know that you need them for the shift target for the bigger Darkwing.
Well, in Darkwing's Paradise, though, I don't think they have the color combinations to actually do the duo, though. Because if I remember, it's probably blue steel. So that's the original Duck Detectives deck, though. For this one, Darkwing Duck is not only used as a for Terror that Flaps in the Night, though. Also, if you pair it up with Launchpad, you basically get to draw cards without discarding them as well. So it gives you card advantage with Launchpad. So
That's
there's
a good point
yeah,
too.
there's a
Yeah,
yeah.
and that he's uninkable as well. Which again, you have the uh, four launch pads uninkable, the three Darkwing uninkables, and then the three lightning bolts, which, oh man, it's only three. And then also the four Illinois uninkables, which, at that point, you've got 14 uninkables into a deck, which, I mean, I know you have a lot of card draw, and it's a pretty low curve. And the four Thunderbolts will help counter the other Illinois, but I think that is a very aggro centric and I don't know. It's definitely a feast or famine deck, which if I was to optimize, I would really lean more into the getting uh, getting more anti aggro in there. I'm not sure how well the Angels works with some of those concepts because I have I don't think Angel works for as wide as that deck's trying to go. Discarding cards, you don't have ways to return those cards. You don't get anything for discarding those cards. So, um, I would have
Yeah.
probably put to make that better. Look what you've done now. So that way,
hmm
Angel could do 4 damage. Really get that extra
Yeah.
because replace the he hurled his lightning bolt, and that's a good way to take
hmm
out enemy Illinois.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think. Look what you did. Is that a singable card? Because the appeal of Hurl Lightning Bolt is basically singable. That's the thing.
So, it's not a singable card, but what it does is, it's a 2 cost action, and if you play it, it does 2 damage. If you discard it, it also does 2 damage. So
Oh,
there's a
okay.
few opportunities to discard it. So if you don't have your Darkwing up and you have your launch pad, you can discard it with your launch pad to deal 2 damage. Um, yeah, couple of interesting opportunities to kind of leverage that card in unique
What
ways.
what about if you discard it using Angel though?
It does 4 damage, which is great.
There you go.
That has that nice 4 damage reach. So,
For nothing.
uh, yep, for 0 cost. Oh, you know what? Now that I realize too, the card I was seeking about that Duckwing Duck, it's Negaduck.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the shift thing. But there is a Shift 5 Darkwing. That it's a 7 cost. This will be a little bit expensive. During your turn, whenever an item is banished, you can pay 1 to deal 2 damage to chosen characters,
hmm
and this can challenge chosen ready villain characters. So, what of course the item part's not super interesting for me, but you could include the Thunderquack, which turns all of your enemies into villains, and then put down that really big Darkwing Duck out there. So that way, touch the sky and you have a really big challenger come out and be able to remove all the enemy's ready characters. Give a big tempo swap around and put you ahead.
Hmm.
What do you think about that? Instead of being quite as aggro focused, he's a 6/8. Again, chip 5, that's not best, and the Launchpad Darkwing combination sadly is only blue steel, so
hmm.
steel sapphire.
There's an issue with that though, because then you're changing the whole DNA of the deck though. Touch the Sky is mainly an aggro deck that is supposed to finish off your opponent a lot more quicker though, because you put him in a red zone, which is 15 lore, and then you do Touch the Sky and you move into Paradise Falls though, and hopefully if they don't do anything to the location, hopefully you'll be able to close out the game that way, though. It gives you an extra 4 lore in the math to deal with that, though. So you want to actually start doing it. What you're describing is a mid-range combo, so you'd have to find
Right.
another way to do so. But no criticism on that. I like the idea, but it does not fit into touch touch the sky or touch paradise because touch paradise is a combo aggro deck.
That's a good point. You know me, I'm just not an aggro player, so
Yeah,
I always
yeah,
look at
that's
it and
fine.
think, how could I turn this into a, like, drawing 3, 4 cards
Yeah,
as a control player anytime I want to?
yeah,
Yes, please.
yeah.
Well, anything else that in these results other than you were right and you were just early in terms of these predictions that you think should people look at these results and get prepared for next week during their league night?
My honest opinion, I think you should play my deck. You should play ramp. You should play. You should play the traditional Sapphire Amber ramp. And I'm gonna tell you why though. Because mathematically, when you're facing off against mid-range decks, it falls quickly to ramp. Because
Yep.
we're able to get our removal out, we're able to get all of our setup. And on top of everything else, if we wipe the board and I have a bell on board, then all my stuff turns into mana. Or not mana, but ink. And
Yeah.
the main thing that people have issues with Raging Storm is not the fact that it costs too much though, but there's just no follow-up. So if you have 14 ink, you're able to cast Raging Storm and follow it up with a character. And if you have a character on board and they have no cards in hand, then they're going to start trailing behind though. Most games that I played this week, I've actually instituted that to the point where they're at 14 or 13 lore and I'm at like maybe 4 or 5 lore. They build up everything. They're setting up for the final turn. I wipe their board. I'm able to get ahead. And then afterwards, if I happen to pull a Hades to take out anything that they cast on there, though, you just basically hold them back and keep questing and keep questing, and then it closes out the game. So mid-range decks, they cannot recover from this 100%.
And that seems like the go-to control deck. I'm sorry to report that I have yet to crack the Powerline Singer deck yet. Just not. It is a very feast or famine deck, and those song cards are right now being so driven into removal that I don't have any spaces to turn song cards into draw. There's a couple of draw cards here and there, but again, it's a very feast or famine. You just have to be very patient and use your removal knowingly.
I have I have something that might actually interest you. Did you take a look at the new cards from Hyperion City?
A couple of them, but what specifically are you thinking about?
Coco, the Coco cards, though, they are dealing with aspects of Singer, and they're also dealing with aspects of discard. So you have if you have a certain discard or songs in your discard a certain amount, then you get this. That might actually push that deck towards feasibility as far as like Ruby Amber. Ruby Amber songs might get a little bit of
Yeah.
bolster. You remember the 80/20 rule I mentioned, right?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely. And turning red, I could see initially that people were thinking this could be, turning red Coco, but adding a little bit of power line, adding in some of the uh, other core shift lines. I could see that could be really interesting. Yeah, I've seen a little bit of the Coco stuff. Something I could also think about a little bit too is because of the draw, Black Cauldron is a really, really interesting opportunity to refill my hand, play, those shift targets, people remove them all the
Yeah.
time. And this lets me put them out really fast. And with the fact that uh, the Webby's Diary is not a really seen play, people are taking less item removal.
Yeah, certainly seen that shift focus as far as like getting away from item removal, but it'll pop up once again. And if that deck I'm talking about with themed around Kevin becomes really popular, because do you know how much that deck is right now? Like dollar value.
Oh, I mean, singles are pretty good. So I'm guessing like $150.
It's a $37 deck.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So taking your family out for basically it's the average meal for a family of three or four. So that's like
Yeah,
and it's a very competitive deck though because it's combo.
you can
Um,
all get Wendy's for that cost.
yeah, current Wendy's though. But yeah, I think we should actually I'll find that link and I'll share it as far as like that deck though because I want people to actually start taking a look at budget decks that are making an impact whatsoever because affordability is the number one thing that players need in order to access this game though above all else.
I play penny legendaries. I mean, that's the whole thing with Powerline.
Yeah,
It's a $2-3 card. You know, I guess now I've seen it up to $8, but
yeah,
that's just because the set it's in Fable is in such high demand.
yeah.
All right. Well, lastly, store tiers. Now that we know what deck we're taking to our store, how much have you heard about the different store tiers?
So the store tiers, I've seen the rankings though. So one is welcome, the other standard, and the
Mhm.
last is legendary. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
that is absolutely correct.
And did you actually read the Reddit thread on it as far as like what the requirements are, or at least the Twitter thread or X?
Yeah, so my understanding of the store tiers is first off, every store is welcome as a welcome tier. They get pre-releases, they get a fair amount of product. It's kind of establish a relationship with Ravensburger, and then if a store can show for 4 months that it can maintain a 25 person amount, so their events will have 25 unique players to it, they can be upgraded to standard. And as long as they keep maintaining this for however long, for 4 months, I think they have to do it for 25 people a year. So if they have 24 people that regularly show up, and that one time someone showed up once in that year and then they dropped off after, a year, that person doesn't count anymore. So they would lose their standard, but 25 people, they would get some extra things from Ravensburger, and they would be able to count as a CCQ as a tournament result. So welcome stores cannot report their results to Ravensburger, which is huge because that we've talked about cheating once before, and that's been ways that people have been hacking the system. Legendary, it's either 50 or 100.
Yeah.
It's bigger, and that's where I think they have opportunities for possibly hosting CCQs. Their tournament results are much more respected. They get even more prize support. I think that we already have a store that's in legendary range
Mhm.
in our community, and I'd love to help support other stores to make sure that they all can get into that higher tier range, and every 4 months. So as long as rotate, once a month going to a store event here or there. I bet that includes like coconut. It doesn't have to pay events. I know that one of our stores is doing a free events Friday night, and they're giving out promos just so they can get into that standard and legendary tier.
And there you go. And that gives the incentive for all these small budding card shops that are popping up out of nowhere, to host these
Mhm.
events though. Like I said, I'm a person that believes in community though. You got to have people to show up in the first place. How are you going to get them to show up? Promos. The second reason
Yes.
why people show up is because, they like the people that they play with. If you get a solid 8 people, to start very small. Try to find 8 people to gather in the same spot at least once a week and then grow from there though. And then geographically, people will start coming to that store repeatedly. It grows and grows and grows. And that's how you got to operate when it comes to building the game and its community. Now, I think the reason why they put this out first to make it a little bit easier is just by the sheer fact that I'm gonna address the elephant in the room though. We can't get no damn product anywhere.
Yeah. Nope. Absolutely, it's a big problem for us right now at just trying to get booster packs from Attack of the Vine.
Yeah, how much are they going for right now still? Are they still going for 220, 230? I'm assuming so.
I've seen booster boxes come down a little bit, but I would be curious to see if it's
Let's,
been anything that's because they haven't printed any more anything else. I would be interested in it's right now at 200 from what it looks like at TCG. So it's dropped a little bit off of the 250.
Oh, thank
Um,
goodness.
we missed it. Oh wow, it dipped down to 160 for a little while, but it's come back up. It that's not unreasonable. It's a little high. If it comes down to like 180,
Mhm.
I think that we've hit a great equilibrium. I'd be very happy with that.
Yeah. Okay. I guess things are getting a little bit better as far as the price goes, though, but I still can't find the product anywhere. And it's like the same thing. And I'll beat this drum until it just goes completely obliterated, though. I don't like scalpers. I really don't.
Yeah.
I don't like them invading my hobby. They just come by like a bunch of locusts and they suck up everything. And it's like, you know what? If you're gonna suck up all this product though, and you got no one to buy your exorbitant prices though, then what is the purpose of you actually doing that in the first place? And then they're just gonna dump everything at MSRP anyways. So you not only wasted everybody's time, but you also are trying to basically passively destroy a game. Because the number one thing that people want to do is play the damn game. And I know people want these booster boxes not just to open them and like, oh gee whiz though. You could actually play a format um
Draft. Yeah,
draft.
if you can't get the packs for draft, that's hugely frustrating.
Yeah.
And I know our game stores, they give out packs for League Night. So luckily they've held on to their store. So instead of multiple of them, instead of selling them, they just make sure that okay, we'll just keep a couple of boxes just in case we can't get any more. And then we expect for League Night, and as they get extra, they'll have them available. But it makes the $12 for League Night seem like, well, a pack for $12 in this economy, that's great, that's a deal. and I get a promo on top. That's a huge incentive, and that works out in the only way I guess I could see it working out.
Yeah, it just rubs me the wrong way that when I see people just buying up all the stock and it's like, well, what's the purpose of that? People want to play this game.
Mm-hmm. Not really. Nope, I completely agree.
It's pretty sad.
Yeah, frustrating too. Well, in terms of store rankings, I know that something else that's been helping out stores is there's been a lot of community effort to kind of set stores going. And I know our area, there's been a community effort to help younger people get into play. Even at some schools, they've been having teachers hold after school events so that kids can play Lorcana, and which corresponds very well with the kids league. There's I think from 8 to 12 and then 12 to adult leagues, so that kids can now compete in a completely separated tournament structure, people their age. This is going to be in my mind massive for core, because it'll have generations of okay, I've played at 8, I got a tournament win that would actually net money, a lot less money than adults, but still, they get to play on stage, they get to have a big event. I haven't heard the details on what the younger tournament schedule, but other kids see that and they go, wow, well, I can also participate in that. I don't know if Magic or Pokemon have anything similar to the
Yeah.
youth league that Late Ravenburger's doing.
They used to back in the day, actually I remember in Magic, they had like ESPN2, the college series though. So the only requirement to enter this tournament is that you are actually active in college though. So I thought that was pretty cool at the time.
Well, I wonder if grad school counted for that, because you're going to get some, adult age people in college. But okay, so this is might something unique, something I guess not even Pokemon really has. This is super helpful, healthy for the game, and if Ravenburger does a really good push to kind of help grow the young people to try and play, I'd be very very excited to see whether or not they get to. Get new people excited in. We've always been very focused in getting the next generation of people, because, as we get older and aren't able to able to come out to as many events due to life. Having those, younger kids go into hey, I've got a car, I can show up at every event. It keeps stores very, very, very full for their league nights. And I think that's going to be, you know, constantly growing communities are going to be great. And as much as I'm sure they're interested in going into Pokemon or Magic the Gathering, some of the well established tournaments, but if they can start a little bit younger, start getting their collections in, and not just stores having to support them, but Ravenburger themselves supporting them, that'd be really exciting. It'd be good for like. I was a 8-year-old. I played Warhammer, and Games Workshop actually had some younger focused events, and that kept me hugely invested in that community for a really, really long time.
Oh yeah.
So I'm glad to hear that this will be even better because Warhammer is a little bit dark for younger kids to jump into, and it's you don't see as many little girls as excited about Warhammer, though. To each their own. I'm sure there'll be plenty of younger ones that want to join in. In fact, that's my question of the week. Now that these things have been announced, write down in the comments. Do you think that anyone that you know of that's under the age of 16 that might see this as an opportunity to say, "Hey, I can join in on this and I can get into playing this game now that I can have a scene just for people my age to play.
Yeah.
Won't have to play with us old fuddies to over complicated decks and some high aggressive gameplay. Though again, it's Lorcana. Everyone's been super welcoming. I've yet to see a problem at all.
Well, it looks like we solved another Lorcana League night this week, though. But we cannot end an episode without opening up a nice cold one, though. So, Chris, what did you bring today?
Oh, today I brought Attack of the Vine.
Oh, Phaedra with the Wilds Unknown. So let's see you go first.
All right. And don't forget, while we're opening this, like and subscribe. That means that we'll open a legendary if you do that, and we'll improve our drop rates. Everyone knows liking and subscribing improves your own drop rates.
I agree.
Also makes you more handsome, and everyone will like you more. And this pack is surprisingly hard to open, and I'm amazed by that. There we go.
There we go.
Did not bend or rip a card. Here we are.
All right, so we got Owl. And we got Splody Head. We got Bell. Woody.
Talking about giving someone adventurous. That's a great card.
Mm-hmm. Petrify. Mother Gothel.
Look what you've done.
Scream Canister.
I thought that'd be a bigger card.
The Irate Chef. Genie.
Not seeing use this time around, which surprises me. I think a evasive 4 cost 3/3 would have been better.
Dumbo's better.
Yeah.
Hi. And we got a Ming Li. Big Ming. And Diablo for your foil. Look at that.
All right.
Excellent.
What did you get this time?
Well, let's see. Let's take a look here. Wilds Unknown. All right. So we're going to start with
a Milo Thatch. A Rat Capone.
Oh, you dirty rat.
Oh, the Barnes. Little ones. A Madoo. A Fauna. Oh, Alan O'Dale. Louisa Magical. Woman, here's my super suit. Strange Things.
Oh.
What else can I do? Bring it in, bring it in. Group hug. Bring it in, bring it in.
And okay.
All's my Magical.
Yeah, we got here. Oh, it's in.
Oh, okay. So I always see this at the beginning of it. Is this miscut? No, this is the special goes together as a group card. I love these cards. I think the editing of just removing the borders so you can put a bunch of them side by side. It's a really fun effect.
Seven dwarves. Yeah, okay. It does look
Yeah.
like a miscut though, but it looks like it goes together like a puzzle. Huh.
Yeah, puzzle in game. So really encourage you to get all those seven dwarves out. Make a seven dwarf deck, and then be able to show them all in a row.
Awesome.
All right. Well, League Night down. Thank you everyone for joining.
And once again, please like and subscribe.